Hello, welcome to our meeting. And at this time, we're going to begin our meeting by recognizing Bob Wood as our Veteran of the Month. So uh, Dennis is going to update everybody and tell the history of you and your military service.
Good evening. Mr. Robert Kenneth Wood is with us tonight. He goes by Bob. Bob Wood is a Cherokee County native with deep roots in the North Cherokee County and Ball Ground area, dating well back over 100 years. Bob joined the United States Navy on August 10th, 1962, and received training as a generator mechanic and diesel mechanic. Upon completion of his training, Bob served our country in numerous locations around the world, including Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and Vietnam. Bob was assigned to the USS Enterprise, also known as the Big E, America's first nuclear aircraft carrier. While in the Navy, Bob completed 2 Mediterranean cruises and 1 cruise around the world. During his time in Vietnam, Bob participated in numerous special operations and projects. One such operation was Project Jenny. I can say that, can I? It's not that secret. In which a naval aircraft was modified to become the world's first operational airborne broadcast station. The capabilities of this unit provided American troops with live World Series broadcasts, allowed television broadcasting, while also serving important roles in support of combat mission and psychological warfare. He said beyond the secret capabilities, they were able to broadcast shows to the American soldiers as well as in Vietnam, which had a little bit of propaganda stuck in there to put out to their television viewers. During his military service, Bob earned the rank of EM2, Engineman Second Class, and received several awards, including the National Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, Good Conduct Medal, and a Presidential Unit Citation. Bob was honorably discharged from the United States Navy on September 9th, 1966, and maintains his home in the Heritage Woods neighborhood of Ball Ground. So as we go down to read the proclamation, I'd like to recognize Bob Wood as our Veteran of the Month for May of 2024.
Yeah.
The challenge going down the backside that we were out memorial and the logo of the city of Baltimore. So I'll read your proclamation. It's a little lengthy. In 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the first Veterans Day proclamation calling on the nation to pay appropriate homage to the veterans of all its wars who have contributed so much to the preservation of this nation. And whereas our nation has fought and continues to fight battles around the world, the words of that first proclamation still ring true. Let us solemnly remember the sacrifices of all those who fought so valiantly on the seas and the air and on foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom, and let us reconsecrate ourselves to the task of promoting and enduring peace so that their efforts shall not have been in vain. And whereas we remember with somber, grateful hearts those men and women who served in the United States of America with distinction and valor as soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and offer our sincere prayers for those who continue to defend the principles on which our nation was founded. And whereas we are proud to recognize our country's veterans and extend the appreciation of our citizens to those who wear the uniform of the United States forces and serve on the front lines preserving freedom and liberty. Now therefore, I, A.R. Roberts III, Mayor of the City of Ball Ground, do hereby proclaim Bob Wood as Veteran of the Month for May and extend to him our sincere appreciation for his sacrifice and the contributions he has made to our great nation and community. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city to be affixed this 9th day of May, 2024. It's signed by the mayor, it's signed by all the council members. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm going to stand behind you and come down.
We'll get a picture with you.
Mayor, I'll have to tell you where to stand.
We need to come out some and go down and give them time to get in. Go that way, Peter. Please. Stop that way. Mayor. Okay.
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 Would you like the family to come up and get a picture?
Well, there's some of them are outside, but I think I'll get them. Literally.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll get her.
She was very talkative.
Yes, and I'm very. You're a lot.
Thank you.
I keep telling people that this part to get back. But it's a different time. I have a chat with everyone. And here, the Cottonville Village. If you're thinking about what Miss Cobb taught you in school, that's why I had such fun.
Oh, gosh.
You know, there's some things that'll stick with you forever. And I learned up there that was about different things. And you're where I'm gonna try to see the things you're
I
talking
don't think so on the side. I think it's same.
It's interesting. So you continue to do it.
Later we'll start.
Come on, get a picture. Here, let me take a picture. See in front of Uncle Bob. Right here.
I did, so you gonna get in it or?
Thought they were gonna forget about it.
All righty, 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you again. Just a second.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mary Wood would like to say a couple of words.
Okay.
But it was so much fun. Most of it, even Vietnam wasn't all bad. Most of it was, but not every minute. But when you come out of Canton, the old Cottonville Village, and all you're seeing is things in the books at school. And I can remember Miss Cobb talking about different places all over the world. And when I enlisted in the Navy, my goal was, if I got close to it, I was going to go see it. And because of that, I got, if you've seen pictures of the Christ statue in Rio de Janeiro, I've been on his feet. I've stood there. And when you turn around and look out off Sugarloaf, Copacabana, that's also a fun place for a young sailor to walk to. I'll guarantee you that, because they didn't dress quite the way down there that they did up here. And I almost stayed, but I decided better come home. There was just places everywhere there's a trail not far from Beirut, Lebanon, that Jesus Christ supposedly walked on. Well, I walked that mile too. You never know. If he did, then he led me up that. But it was just interesting. And I found out one thing for sure, no matter where you go, people are the same everywhere. They act a little different and they may talk a little different, but you got good, bad, smart, and questionable. But it can be a lot of fun. And I had a really great time going around the world on the Big E, which was a showboat, pulled into Cannes, France twice for the film festival, met every movie star of the day back then, and even joked with John Wayne once. And if any of you ever see the Birds movie, Alfred Hitchcock production, Tempe Harridan is the blonde. I kept her from falling in the bay in Cannes. She had spike heels on, trying to climb a ladder on a ship. As she stepped from the boat to the deck of the landing, she was heading for the bay, and I grabbed her and swung her up on. Well, they got a picture later of her kissing me on the cheek. Alfred Hitchcock, if his eyes had had those daggers in them, I wouldn't be here. He wasn't a bit happy with me. That was his sweetheart, or he wanted her to be. But it was fun. And then crossing the equator at 0000 off Africa. There's other places to cross it. That was a good spot. And then coming back around the world, making the speed run and holding your breath coming around the Horn, because if you think it's rough water on Lake Altoona, come around the Horn on the biggest ship in the world, and she takes that roll and everybody stops walking and just waits to see if she's going to turn turtle. I'm wondering how far you can swim in cold water. But it was always interesting. And we just had a good time. And life can be good. It can be fun. I just wish everybody would catch on. You better enjoy every minute. I should have been dead at 20. And here I am, 81. I just want to enjoy it right to the end and then hope everybody else keeps having fun. And thank you for listening to my story. I got a good one.
Yeah, you do. And we're so proud.
Even though there's one that threatens to beat me up fairly regularly. But so far, the top round of it. The look size those fists. It scares me every time I get around. Buy her a car. Well, thank you for listening to me.
We just have the one more duty for you.
Yes, sir.
I'll ask that you lead us in pledging allegiance to our flag. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Under God, indivisible. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Woods.
I believe our city manager who's in Savannah at a conference right now has placed your name up on our digital sign out front as Veteran of the Month. So you have to take a look when you leave.
That's right. It'll be up for the whole month. So that you'll. Well, you're already famous. I'm not sure that will help you become famous. I think you're already.
Yeah, he's already done it. The signs reflect.
Yeah, there it is. So again, thank you so much. Okay, council members, let's move to approving the agenda. You have a copy of the agenda. We're going to ask you to remove one thing for now, and actually we'll deal with it later. But it's this item under new business. It's item B concerning ordinance for trash cans. So we're gonna, if we would, let's remove that off the agenda if the council will approve that.
Motion to approve.
Otherwise, a motion to approve the agenda.
Also.
Second, all in favor? Okay. All right, so we'll, again, we'll deal with that issue, that item, probably next meeting. At this time, we don't have anybody signed up to speak to us. We don't have a public. We have, then come forward. Oh, you're in a, no. Okay, I see, I see you're not sitting in a chair. Yes, please.
My name's Harold Hunter, and I come here to ask y'all if y'all could put up some signage downtown. Stuff. Purpose of it is to make parents aware that it's a dangerous area. What I mean by that is I've seen people walk up and down the street, parents not holding their hand. I've seen times when the child runs, parent stops them. But it's just such a danger, I think, running between the cars. They can run between the cars. You're not 3 feet from getting hit by a truck or a car. So my idea for signage is just put something simple. Paved wall, but put a sign up, hold your child's hand. Something to remind them that's a dangerous area. I think this could be done lots of ways. Y'all could probably decide better. Put
Okay.
a sign on the telephone pole. Put an easel out front, hold your child's hand, put signs. There's places where flowers are. You can put some in the ground. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, well, we'll move on, putting up signage. I wish we could come up with getting a grant so we could actually put a fence along the whole sidewalk so people can't, but then if you park there, you can't get out of your car, but still that would make it the safest. We do have, to be through downtown, we're the only one in the county now that has a state highway through our downtown.
That's,
And it makes it more dangerous for sure. So, but that's a good idea. You go into neighborhoods, neighborhoods and there are signs about children, be careful. And I think we need to follow your suggestion.
Well, I got a question. Y'all were widening side. Y'all widening the sidewalk. Maybe I'm having a dream. I don't know. It's wonderful sidewalk.
I think our sidewalks are about as wide as they can get. Things are pretty constricted through town, with the buildings being so close to the roadway already. The big goal here, I think everybody here would concur, is to get the trucks out of downtown, and that way we can control that street in many ways. But no, there are no immediate plans for any sidewalk improvements. I think your suggestion with putting up signage is something that, if the council agrees, we could probably accommodate that pretty easily. We can also do public service announcements through social media, through the website to, just remind our visitors and our citizens to be mindful of what's going on in town.
And we have speakers downtown and music. And we also could put in between music, actually mention, please, be careful with your children because of traffic risk and stuff like that. So that might be a good thing to add to it as well. But again, appreciate your input. Anybody else want to address the council? Okay. Since Eric is not here, Chris is going to be he's the city manager today at this meeting. Do you have announcements?
Yes, sir. We have an action-packed start to the summer here in Ball Ground. Starting Saturday, you all walked in past our great botanical garden out here next to City Hall. The Ball Ground Garden Club is having their annual plant sale and festival on Saturday, this coming Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please plan to attend that. It's a great event that these folks work really hard to put together for us. Later this month, on May 25th, is the Guardians of the Jukebox, followed by another concert that's sure to bring a lot of folks to town on June 29th. That is a band called Fly Betty, who has also been here a number of times. And then that same night following Fly Betty on June 29th is our annual fireworks display, which is a sight to behold. So please add those to your calendar and plan to attend. We have some great offerings here.
Okay. Yeah, we do the fireworks, not on July 4th. We do it usually the Saturday before July 4th, because it costs us half as much. And we can have a nicer show because if we were doing it like all the other cities on the 4th of July, it's harder to get people to do the job and it costs more. But we do an outstanding, we have outstanding display of fireworks here. So that's the 29th of June.
Kendall won't be in Savannah this year.
Yes. Okay, let's move on now to approving the minutes from April meeting. Council members, you guys have a copy of any change to the minutes? Otherwise, could I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion made, second,
I'll second.
from Vicky. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Karen has only been doing minutes for City of Ball Ground for 30,
Mostly 39,
sorry, is that 38 years?
38.
38 years as our city clerk. All right, so we'll move now to old business. We have two items. The first is to consider second reading of an ordinance to amend our zoning map. And it's, we had the first reading in April. Any ordinance change we do, any ordinance we adopt has to be done at two meetings. So this is the second reading. And so Chris, you want to summarize what the
Yes,
change
sir.
is?
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is the second reading, which is the final reading for this series of zoning map amendments. It's four really pretty minor changes. One of those is the Town and Country location up here off of Ball Ground Highway. That was a residential zoning. They've obviously been a tire and auto shop for a good while. So cleaning that up, changing it from a residential zoning to a commercial zoning. The other three are some map cleanup rezones from when we changed our zoning. Was it last year? These were sites that were zoned residential, and they're more of a transitional zoning due to their location on 372, immediately adjacent to downtown. So we had the public hearings in, I believe it was February and March. We've addressed all comments, and we had the first reading last month. So again, this is the final reading to make those map changes.
Okay. Could I, at this time, ask for a motion to approve the second reading?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Vicky, second. By Dennis, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, good. Thank you. The next item under old business is the second reading of our upcoming budget. Our budget year runs from, it starts in July through June. So we have actually put together the budget. We actually voted on it the first time. It's an ordinance as well, which, by the way, I might add, I found out from a training course I had, it doesn't have to be an ordinance. So we might want to look into that. But right now we're set up so it is an ordinance. But this, our budget this year totals 6.3 million, which is the highest it's ever been in our history. We are growing, and we're getting more people, and we're actually getting to do, I think, more things for our residents. And again, but this budget, Eric puts it together, and we review it and comment on it, but he does a good job. So, but again, we need to actually have the second reading approved right now. So is there a motion to approve the second reading of the budget?
Motion to approve.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, Scott? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. So that's in effect. Again, it will come in, it will start in on July 1st of this year. Move to new business items now. The first is to consider an appointment to the Sequoia Regional Library System. Ball Ground always has a rep, and we're actually putting in a new person now that is very active. She's the historic director for the county. She lives in Ball Ground, and she's worked with us historic wise for the city. But Stephanie Joyner, who's sitting right over there. So I would like to put forth her, recommend that we approve her to serve on the library board.
And move to,
Okay, motion by Annette,
I'll second.
by Dennis, all in favor? I'm not asking if anybody's opposed, but you'll do a good job. You represent us so well in so many ways already, but we're thrilled that you're going to serve for the city.
Thank you, Alana.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you. Next item, this is the item that is on the agenda we've taken off. So we'll move to consider adoption of Parks Master Plan. This is we've been working on for months, and we've made some changes over the time. You want to cover that?
Yes, sir. This is the end product of a very, say lengthy, but it's probably a pretty common timeline for a lot of planning endeavors. It started off gathering up a lot of the different user groups at Calvin Farmer Park. So Ball Ground Baseball, Pickleball Club, the dog frisbee folks, and just meeting with them and hearing what they had to say. We're also elected officials there and staff. So that then we took those ideas and transitioned into the wider public input process, where we put out an online survey that had just some of the most incredible feedback I think I've ever seen in an online survey. We had 443 responses, and for a city of our size, that's tremendous. So with the online survey, we also had 2 public open houses that we held for the folks that, maybe weren't comfortable doing it online. So we took all the feedback and then put it into this plan that we have brought before you tonight for adoption. At the work session last week, there were some final comments about coming up with an alternative plan that shows an amphitheater there at, I don't know if you can see on the screen, but they're around location number 17 in the top left. So we've added that image into the plan that shows an amphitheater in there as an alternative. We've also added about a page of text talking about how if the city park amphitheater that we currently have were to cease to become useful, if we needed something better, what have you, this would be a suitable location for a new amphitheater. We also incorporated some images of some playgrounds that Councilman Barnes shared, and then we relocated a image of a splash pad. So I believe that addresses the comments from the work session, and this information has been put onto our website. We have a Calvin Farmer Park webpage. It's been up for the duration of this project. So all the data that we've received from the public has been put there, the draft plans, and now this final plan is also posted there.
So at this time, we ready to adopt the plan? It's, Chris has put a lot of work into it. Chris with a C,
Yeah.
not with the K. You have too. Actually, this council been very active in many things, including putting together this plan. So at this time, um, I was asked for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Motion made, second. Any comments or
I think it's good
Question?
for a plan.
I do
Paper
too.
Magic wand.
Okay, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
I'm not going to ask if anybody's opposed because I don't know, I know no one is. So thank you. But again, it will improve our central park is Calvin Farmer Park. And that's how over the years, we've enlarged it, and it's just going to be much better as we modify it according to this, to this, master plan. All right, the next item is to consider a three-way stop at intersection of Groover Street and Civic Drive. As you might know, you turn the clock back a year or two ago, Groover Street, it ended at Civic Drive, but now it's been extended, and now so it's more of an intersection, but instead of just where one road ran into the other. So, Chris, you want to add anything to that?
Yes, sir. Simply put, this is a very unusual intersection here. To the top of these images, you see where Civic Drive, I don't think you can see my cursor. Civic Drive comes into Calvin Farmer Park here. So you have that curb cut and there's an existing stop sign right at that location. You also have kind of an endless curb cut here for the senior center. So that's allowing the free flow of traffic to come in and out at a number of locations onto Groover Street. So cleaning that up is part of that previously shared Calvin Farmer Park plan. So that in itself will help the situation. But I think perhaps the most dangerous part of this intersection now is that folks traveling on Groover Street towards the southeast along this green path here, they don't have to stop if they're continuing straight onto the new Groover Street into the Creekside development. At the same time, drivers coming down Civic Drive from 372, they don't have to stop in a conflicting direction as they either go straight into Calvin Farmer Park or they curve around Groover Street. So I believe it's only a matter of time until you're going to have some sort of a T-bone collision there without one of those directions being forced to stop. You also have a very wide radius here, as you can see in this image, that allows drivers to take this turn at a very relatively high rate of speed. Oftentimes they're cutting across those yellow dotted lines and they're actually traveling on the opposite side of the road, which could lead to a head-on collision. Side note, I come out to the basketball court at my lunch break sometimes and I've seen too many close calls. So a solution, we've had some very informal conversations with some different engineering groups, and they all seem to say, a quick, simple solution to provide immediate safety is to make this, I don't know if it's a three-way stop or a four-way stop, but it's to make sure that each direction stops before they continue through the intersection. So that's the proposal, would be to, the image on the left shows the two existing stop signs. The proposal would be to add two more, one here and then one here.
So do we need to make a correction to the agenda to consider a four-way instead of a three-way?
That's what I'm looking at.
I would say so.
Or just make a motion.
I think that you can just, make a motion to amend that particular new business item if that's the direction you want to go from a 3-2.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to amend that agenda to a four-way stop.
Okay, and that makes sense to me
It
too.
does, yeah.
Particularly looking at the red
If every
signs on
red
it.
dot means a stop sign.
It does. Okay, have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from you guys? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Turn the microphone back on. Any opposed? Okay,
That was just to change it to say four-way, but we also need to approve the four-way stop, right?
Correct.
So I make a motion to approve four-way stop.
okay. Motion made, second. Scott, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. How long will it take us to get that set up? A week?
I believe we'll have to order stop signs unless you know of any laying around. We can get back to you on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The sooner the better.
Yeah.
It appears it's very unsafe when you start looking at it this way.
Okay, let's move on. We have an item listed next. It's consider a property lease with the with Patriot Rail. As we discussed earlier, we have not finished the negotiations with the rail service yet. And so we want to actually put that on hold for 60 days to the table it for 60 days in order to finish the negotiations. And that is, we're trying to get property that belongs to the railroad for parking downtown. So, which we need. And so at this time though, could I get a motion to table this?
This is the crossing to Old Canton.
No, this is on Valley.
This is the, parking, the green space next to the railroad.
On Valley.
On Valley,
Lease.
right up here.
The picture though.
I believe the parking lease with Patriot Rail on Valley Street, Eric pulled back on that to explore the other option of securing a different lease.
Right.
Um,
Something that we're discussing.
yes. This matter here, has to do with the, piece of property north of Mountain Brook that Pulte Homes has under contract, for a development. This is already zoned property. So you won't be seeing this for any approvals, but, they have two ways out of this piece of property. They have a connection to Jordan Road and Old Dawsonville. They also have a connection to Old Canton Road. To alleviate some of the vehicular congestion on Old Dawsonville, we've pushed them to tie into Old Canton Road. In doing so, they have to cross the railroad, and the railroad has some asks that we just weren't totally comfortable with to cross over. So Eric has gone back to them, and they have not yet responded, as I understand it. So the staff recommendation is just to table this tonight, and then I believe it was revisit this in 60 days.
Okay, but we are also considering leasing the property for parking
Yes, sir.
as well.
Yes, sir.
But it's this would, if this goes through, it will give access from people Mountain Brook North, that part of the city, give access into Old Canton Road without having to come through downtown, which should, to be safer, I think would. So we want to do it, but we are having a little bit of a challenge of having to maintain the property, and it's going to cost us a lot more than we expected. So that's why we're putting on hold until see if we can't get a better offer, right?
Absolutely.
So let's just go ahead and ask for the council to approve putting that on.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we table the property lease agreement with Patriot Rail in this matter.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we'll be revisiting this in July, hopefully. Okay, move to the last item under new business. It's first reading of request from Forum Winery license wine consumption on premises. This is something that the brewery here and it's been now allowed through state to sell wine there, to actually sell Georgia wine, Georgia made wine, and they member of the brewery actually met with the. I wasn't at the work session, so maybe I should ask somebody else to talk about it. But again, the intent is to move forward in letting them obtain a license for to sell wine there at the brewery. You want to update that, please?
Yes, sir. I believe this is, should be fairly straightforward. The request, as you mentioned, is for our brewery to serve wine. The way they do that is by securing this farm winery license. It's a state requirement. They have to start with us first, though. So once we approve, if and when we approve the license, they can then move to the state, and I believe the federal licensing processes too. I remember she said they have to make wine on site. I don't know that there's any sort of a quantity requirement, but they have to just make wine. I do see here that she expressed that she was in agreement with a condition for not serving any distilled spirits as part of this approval of her farm winery license. So if the elected body does wish to approve the farm winery license, I think in your motion you would state the condition that no distilled spirits be served on site.
In addition to that, Christine also said that she was more than willing to work with Dot's Fine Wine in our downtown area because she would be working with the vineyards in northern Georgia. So both places. So they were going to try to complement.
They have to make wine, but also any Georgia made wine can be sold there, poured there. We're good, yeah. Okay, could I have a motion to approve this first reading of the requested farm winery license?
Motion to approve with stipulation that they do not sell spirits.
Okay, motion made, second.
Second.
Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, that will be, we'll have the second reading in June for this, for it to be valid. So at that time, that's everything we have on our agenda under new business. So we'll move now to, we'll call you the assistant city manager. Since you Chris actually does that. He's a planner, but he's also handles a lot of things that Eric does too. So I'll turn it over to you.
Everybody here makes a great team, so we're all very reliant on one another, and it's a lot of fun to work for the city. I don't have a city manager report. Eric said he would be sharing the financials and those things he typically shares via email. If there's anything specific that you might need, please reach out to either Eric or myself and we can get it to you.
They do have a copy of the financial.
Okay.
Chief, you want to address us?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Close the laptop up.
That's all right. That's all right. Pretty good news. This city is a goal that I had, and I know many of you shared. We are in the state accreditation process right now, and that's something that we've worked very hard for. There's no reason why we shouldn't be. You're going to see that it offers many opportunities for the city, reduces liability, and more importantly, makes us transparent, which I think everybody can appreciate. Chris, if you would just go ahead and put us through there. A lot of people want to know, what is state certification? What does it do? And what is the process? State certification is basically an agreement that we as the city are going to adhere to certain policies, certain procedures that this organization has come to put as a practice. We're not going to divert from it. We're actually going to commit to following these sets of rules and regulations. Chris, if you would, thanks. It represents a significant professional achievement for our law enforcement division. It acknowledges the implementation of certain policies and directives. And if we are not accountable to each other, then the state would come in and say, you need to do better. The council would, and the mayor would obviously concur with that. So this gives us a set of guidelines, rules, basically, that we would follow, much like agencies throughout the state do. It provides a comprehensive blueprint for effective professional law enforcement. And I think it's very, very important. It's a commitment that I want to make, and more importantly, that staff wants our citizens to know that not only do we want this, we expect this. And we're driven to make sure that we can obtain this. Chris? More importantly, it obviously, anything that's brought into question from a social media standpoint or even a general media standpoint, it allows us to show and be transparent, and open up our policy manual on why we do things, and more importantly, why we don't do things. The certification is about leadership. It's about doing the right thing for the right reasons. And I don't think a citizen would complain of us doing the right thing, the right time, all the time. If you're not state certified, honestly, you're just waiting on that lawsuit. It's a very minimal cost in terms of out of our budget, something that we can definitely absorb. But more importantly, it just sends the statement that this city and this law enforcement agency is committed to doing the right thing at all times. So I'm excited about it. We are in the process of it. We did get a little bit of news today. We have 3 years to complete it. My goal is to complete it in 90 days. And that may be a little maybe too aggressive, but that's okay. We definitely want to get it done by the end of the year. We were hoping to have the state on site in July of 2024 to give us our assessment. That looks like it could be our mock, which is basically our pregame, our pre-assessment, but that's okay. I still think that at the Chiefs Conference in late January, I believe, we will be getting our accreditation as a state certified agency. So fingers crossed. That is our goal. We're pushing forward. We're excited about it. I appreciate your support. And we're going to make it happen. We did get a little bit of news today that we have to have a state accreditation manager, which I knew we had to have. Unfortunately, I've got to send somebody to some training. It's a 3-day course. So before we get the state out here, we have to have that person. So I'm going to identify somebody and get them into that training. Getting the certification is a little bit easier than maintaining it. Once we get this, we have to maintain proofs and show what we're doing to stay in compliance. So it's going to take a little bit of work on our part, but the guys and I, we're ready for it. So we're excited, officially in the process, and hopefully within the 6 month, 9 months at the most, we will be state certified. And then who knows, maybe we'll go for that national accreditation. Get this one under our belt first. Yes, sir.
Chief, my understanding, we have had a part-time accreditation manager,
We have had a,
certification manager.
yes, she is not a certification manager. That's the little,
Okay.
she does this for the sheriff's office and she assists their accreditation manager, but she's not been through the 3-day training herself. So what she's helping us is putting our proofs together, getting our files in order. She's very knowledgeable. She just has not had that formal training. Nor does she expect to get it with the sheriff's office. So we're going to have to send somebody. They've got 2 others already. So she helps them and draws up different things and looks at different things. but she also has other duties outside of that. So we have to identify somebody here, even if it's just on the interim. And then next budget cycle or something, maybe we come back and say, we have to have this person. It is a full-time position, meaning that it's got to have time put into it. It's got to have a lot of follow-up, and it's got to be, thoroughly done. I think we can, I don't want to use the word limp, we can make it work now with in-house officers, but eventually we're going to have to identify that as a need for the agency moving forward. But we're not going to let it derail us now.
If you go to Kalia, yeah, you'll definitely need a full-time
Yes, sir.
accreditation manager.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see this process. I helped write these standards from the beginning, and this has been a program that has just blossomed in Georgia, and thank goodness it has. I'm real proud to see us getting this close to it.
I don't think a professional law enforcement officer would want to operate without these standards. It literally, I use the theory like an umbrella. If you stay under the umbrella, you don't get wet. If we do something that we're not supposed to do, we should get soaked. And I think this helps us stay on that path on professionalism and ethics and everything else that goes along with this profession. And it just demonstrates and shows that we're not afraid of it. We're not going to run from it. We're going to run to it. So again, professionalism, operational guidance, positive community support, 100% transparency. And I can't, speak about that enough. Ethical conduct and again, liability protection. It wraps it all into that. So that's our main push for that. Criminal violations for the month. It was pretty quiet. 60 traffic stops, 42 citations. And for some reason, we're having issues with getting our tags through the state. It's kind of like everybody knows it's coming. It's the birthday tax, whatever. But out of the 20 citations we wrote, the 42 citations we wrote, 20 were for a tag violation. So I don't know if people were having issues getting their cars repaired or stuff. But honestly, if that's the worst problem we're having with traffic in the city, I'm okay with that. We did have some speeders. We got one gentleman at 93 miles an hour on the interstate, which is a little concerning, obviously. But more importantly, 10 speeding violations in the city. We can do better as motorists. We can slow it down a little bit. I'd like to see that number in the single digits. But I'm happy with the number of citations written compared to the warnings we're given. I think we're on the right track there. Knock on wood, we are fully staffed, and I'm proud to say that. I know there are other departments that can't say that. I do have an officer out on surgery. He's doing well. He is on track to get back a little earlier. We are at 7 officers. Much like state certification, I want to see us 24/7. So anytime you guys are ready, I've got people calling us and knocking on our door, wanting to come to work here. So the two big goals, obviously state certification and full-time staff here, are well within our sights, and we're striving to reach those goals. The plant sale and festival, which is all I've heard about all week. I've seen numerous volunteers throughout the day, and even in the pouring rain, they're out there. I'm being told it's going to probably bring more people than our concert. So I'm excited. I'm coming up that morning. So we hope to see everybody here. And then at the end of the month, we got our concert in the park. We got plenty of staff for that. Hopefully we'll have a real good night, good weather, and we'll keep everybody safe. Not drinking out of a fire hose as much now. Now I'm drinking out of a garden hose, but I do appreciate everybody's support. It's been a great transition. The staff has been wonderful. Everybody's been so accommodating, and things are actually settling in, and we're making some progress.
Quick question.
Yes.
On becoming full staffed, what
Yes.
is your projection?
What is the magic number?
Yeah.
Well, I love my city council, and a lot of that is obviously we got in a little late this year with the budget.
Right.
I would hate to hammer and ask for 3 or 4 slots. That's why working something in, I'd love to sit down and talk. Realistically, we've got 7 right now to do it. 11 would be a great number. We can make it work with 10. And I think that gives 2 things.
Be better.
12 will be, listen, you wouldn't hear me for years. It gives us not only citizen coverage, but it also gives that officer somebody else working with them, so they're not by themselves. Yes, we live in a great community. However, there are a lot of transparent people and transient people that come through, and those are the ones that concern me. But with the 7 I have right now, we're doing a lot of things. We're altering our schedules a little bit, especially with summer coming up. Don't be surprised when your chief's out there at 9, 10 o'clock rattling on doors. That's just what we're going to do. So again, 12 would be a great number. That would give us a dedicated detective, which I think as we grow, we're going to need. I think that the sheriff's office is great support, and they're a force multiplier, but I think that we as a city can stand on our own. I've had a lot of conversations with Sheriff Reynolds. We've already started some integrated training. So things are going well on that. They've got a lot of good things they can offer us. So we're moving in the right direction. Absolutely.
And I would think too, with 12, if you have one person out due to an illness and
Yes,
one
ma'am.
person at training.
Yes,
You know, you need that little extra leeway there.
Absolutely. And then, of course, myself and Sergeant Young, it gives us the ability to go out and supervise,
Right.
to make sure and hold our people to that standard that we're looking for. What I don't think is fair to the officers to be out there by themselves without supervision. So that number absolutely gives us the ability to do some things and allows us to get out of the office and get in the field where we need to be and meet the people and see things all the time, as opposed to in that time of need and desperation. Absolutely. Thank you. That's it. If you have any questions for me, I do appreciate the time and appreciate everything y'all do for us.
Chief, you have accomplished so quickly something.
No, sir, they've allowed me to do this. The staff has been great.
I'm saying though that this is something for years we wanted to move forward on. I learned about that when Cherokee County went into that state certification, and so I'm very pleased personally, and I think everybody else here is too. We're just we want a full-time police department that does things right, and that's the certification. That's important.
I think that's a standard that honestly is easily obtainable, and it's a commitment from us and from the city to our residents, and I think that's important.
It is.
It is.
But thank you so much.
Thank you. I heard today from Eric. He received it's called the draft numbers from the taxes being assessed for people in our city, and we just approved the budget. So I'll say that it turned out what the numbers coming in from the preliminary draft numbers very much match the well matched what's in our budget. So that's good news. He will actually probably at the next work session go over some details of some anything that's different. But it is it's good that it's going in. It matches our budget. It's not already like, oh gosh, it's not enough. But he'll do that. By the way, I will probably not be at the next work session either, unless you guys want to come to Ireland. Have it. But again, Eric will go over the details of how the taxes are coming in from the county, what we're going to be receiving. We also mentioned that we do have the Georgia Municipal Association annual conference at the end of June. And so I think a lot of people are going, and we're going to figure out a way to get Dennis there.
I'll hold down for it.
We're going to reach out to his employer.
No, please. That's how I go enough places. I don't need.
Well, the training we go through and we all do is very important, because being involved in local government, things change. I mean, from year to year, and so it's a learning need. And so but we're the big thing this year will be in Savannah. Always in Savannah. None of the people in Georgia, the cities would let us change it to another city. So we'll be in Savannah, and but we'll do some updates on what we all learn once we go through all the courses there, come back. Scott, you want to bring anything up?
I do want to give a little bit of an update on what's called the Pocket Park. It's downtown on Main Street, little park down there. It's City Connection Park is what we're moving towards. And it's coming together, almost going to be tied up here soon at a ribbon cutting, reintroduce it to the public. But many of you have already seen the lighting down there. We've got a ball ground sign that's lit up above the stage. We've got some new trash cans. It's a big excitement, but new trash cans that are coming to spruce it up a little bit. The seating's in place. So we've done a mulch. So that in the name of the park will be the plaques on the front brick walls there. So I'm very excited about that because a lot of people assumed that was just one of the other, they really thought the Bergmans had that property and it was their seating area, but it's actually a city park. And, but it's our core downtown, so I'm looking forward, we've been working on this for quite a while. A lot of us have getting the designs and getting it cleaned up. So it's gonna come together real soon here. And we actually have people that are already asking to do some acoustic music events and be up on the stage and enjoy that. So good things coming downtown. Look forward to getting that tied up.
Vicky?
I'd like to just let everybody know, once again, the month of May, we have two big events. We have the Garden Club sale this coming weekend, and then it's the Memorial Day weekend, isn't it? That the Guardians of the Angels are going to be here. And then the last thing is, I wanted to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. Y'all deserve your one day.
Thank you, Vicky. Dennis?
Happy Mother's Day. I'm not gonna let that go by, especially to my wife. Congratulations, Mr. Wood. We appreciate your service. Please get the word out. We do this every month. We just need veterans. And a lot of veterans are not, they're not crazy about getting recognized because they're humble that they just did their job. But we want to show them off, and they deserve it. So please nominate some folks. We'd love to have the whole year filled. We're going kind of going month to month, and when we get a veteran, so I'd love to see a pile of applications stacked up. They have to live in Ball Ground or they have to own a business in Ball Ground. Those are the only requirements, the main requirements. So, again, congratulations, Mr. Wood, and thank you for your service.
Chris?
Thank you, everybody. Chris with a K. I just want to thank everybody for coming. After we get, I think, through one more wet night tonight of rain, they say more's coming. We're going to have a beautiful weekend for the plant sale. And happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there, and enjoy your weekend. It's going to be a beautiful one.
I don't have anything original. Happy Mother's Day. The plant sounds gonna be fabulous.
Well, it should be good weather this weekend. That sounds good. Do we need to go to the attorney now? Daryl?
I don't think so. You don't need to go there.
Charges by the way.
I started to say we'll avoid him because he'll charge us if we call on him. I'm kidding. Daryl, how long have you been with us? 25?
Pushing 30 years.
He's put up with us, and we're lucky to have had. I mean, there are not very many cities that have an attorney been with an attorney for that long. So I'm very proud personally for what we've accomplished through Daryl. And Chris with the C. We have Chris with the K and Chris with the C, so I'll make sure I point him out. Anything you want to add to?
Thank you for letting me join you all up here in the comfy chairs. It's been a pleasure.
Well, you're tall enough. You don't have to have a cushion to sit on like
I was thinking the same thing.
the rest of us. Anyway, okay, let me ask anybody want to address the council on any issue at this point? If not, here at 8:05, 1 hour and 5 minutes after we started, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for attending.